Hey, for all the authors that are listening out there, I wanted to share with you this great email that we received here at the Reading with Your Kids podcast from Dr. Linda Mubarak. She is a past guest and the author of Maxine's New Job. Here's the email. Dear Fatima and Jed, good news! Maxine's New Job has been nominated to receive the prestigious Henri Award at the 2018 Christian Literacy Awards for Outstanding Literacy Work in the Children's Book Division. I sincerely believe your certifying Maxine as a great read helped bring increased social media attention to the book. Thank you for the exposure and the great marketing. We are so happy for Dr. Linda Mubarak that her book, Reading with Your Kids Certified Great Read, Maxine's New Job, received this prestigious recognition. We would love to help your book receive that same kind of recognition. If you are interested in having your book considered for our Reading with Your Kids Certified Great Read program, please visit our website, readingwithyourkids.com. You can click on the contact button, send us a note, and we'll send all the information back to you, or you can go right to our Certified Great Read page on our website. It's fun, it's easy, and it is really an effective way to let the world know that your book stands out above all the rest. The Reading with Your Kids Certified Great Read program.
Reading with Your Kids.
Hey, so great to see you. Come on in. Hi, my name is Jedley, and this is the Reading with Your Kids podcast. We're very happy that you are joining us today. Hey, have you subscribed to the show yet? If not, please take a minute to subscribe to us on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on Stitcher, on iHeartRadio, radio.com. Wherever you listen to podcasts, please subscribe to the show. That way you won't miss any guests like today's guest. She's the author of Little Pearl's Reflection. Her name is Sarah Ann Kinnear. If you're the author of a great children's book, we would love to have you as a guest on the Reading with Your Kids podcast. And if you're the author of a great children's book, you are also the head of your business. That's right. And your business is the business of selling your great children's book. And you want to do it right. That's why I think you should check out readingwithyourkids.com/inkfile, INCFILE. readingwithyourkids.com/inkfile. Inkfile helps you quickly and easily form your LLC, S Corp, C Corp, or any other business. Start your business today for as little as $49 and state fees. There's no contracts. There's no hidden fees. Inkfile has been trusted by over 150,000 businesses worldwide since 2004. Check it out today. Remember, you are the head of a business once you write your great children's book. You want to do it right. Go to our website, readingwithyourkids.com/inkfile, INCFILE, readingwithyourkids.com/inkfile. Joining us on the line right now from Pensacola in Florida, where they're complaining that it's a little cold today because it's only 50 degrees, she said to the person in 15-degree Boston. She's the author of a great children's series called Little Pearl's Reflection. Please welcome to the show the author, Sarah Ann Kinnear. Sarah, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yes, we're really happy to have you here, and we're really happy to learn a little bit more about Little Pearl's Reflection. Tell us about the series, please.
It's a story about a little girl on her 7th birthday who has lost her mother. And not lost her mother because her mother has died or passed away, but lost her mother because she can't find her. And she lives on an island, so she spends the next 7 books trying to find her mother. And it's actually several mysteries within the books where the children try and figure out what actually is going on. In book 2, we have rocks that talk to Little Pearl. And in book 3, we have plants on the island that talk to Little Pearl. And then the animals in the next book 4 talk to Little Pearl and so forth. And I think probably the most unusual part of the series is that every book contains a puzzle piece with a word or two on it. And the children write to me and try and tell me what they think the puzzle is going to say at the end. And the child that actually completes the puzzle at the end of book 6, that child gets to be the lead character that helps little Pearl in book 7 find her mother.
Wow, very cool. I really love this. I was telling Sarah before the show that I do educational magic shows, and one of the things I love about performing is that my shows are totally interactive, and we get kids up on stage and involved in the magic. And what a great, unique way to get kids involved in a book and in a series.
Yes. Oh, I get wonderful letters, and children. When I go to schools and speak to students, I used to be a teacher myself, and when I go to schools and I speak to the children, they all try and guess and so forth what's going on. I also have at the end of each book 3 questions because I want the children to read together with parents if they can, or with another child, and discuss 3 questions per book. And so the questions then lead toward the puzzle pieces. And like I said, there are several mysteries. There's one big mystery in the whole book as to where is little Pearl's mother on her 7th birthday. But there are lots of other little mysteries for the children to solve. And I think the questions at the end of each book lead them to think about these mysteries. And the whole series is dedicated to finding out about life and that everything in the world is alive and we relate to everything in the world. So
this is really fascinating. You know, if you were to imagine a scary scenario for a kid, you know, a lot of people would think about monsters and zombies and danger. But from my way of thinking, I think probably one of the most terrifying things that could happen to a kid is to lose their mother.
Yes, yes. And she knows that her mother was with her 1 minute, and that's where the story begins. And she knows her mother was with her 1 minute, and then her mother went to a different part of the meadow where they're star watching to watch some stars. And little Pearl is reading her adventure book by candlelight, and she falls asleep. And when she wakes up, her mother's gone, and it's daylight, and it's her birthday. And so now she has to decide, am I going to go home or am I going to go look? And she runs all over the meadow and so forth. And she lives on a very small Pacific island called Luta. And so she goes all around the island following the old winding river and meeting up with characters that go along with her. One of the most interesting characters, I think, is a blue bunny that disappears and reappears. And he has big red glasses. His name, thanks to my son when he was young, is In Out, Up Down, Doorknob, Cinnamon Roll. And they call him In Out. And he pops in and out. And he's along with her on the journey. There's several characters that go along the whole way with her on the journey. And each one of them is a mentor to her to teach her something about life as she goes along the journey.
Wow, fascinating. One of the things I love right off the bat about the series is that it sounds like you have a definitive ending to the mystery and that the mystery will be solved in the 7th book. Am I right about that?
Absolutely. This was written 20 years ago.
Wow.
I couldn't find an illustrator that I liked, that fit the bill for me. So, and plus I was a principal and a teacher, and raising children didn't have time to publish. And so when I finally did find an illustrator and publish, the whole thing was already laid out. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it was not as in detail, in as much detail as it is now, because it was originally written for one long book, and now it's 7 shorter books, thanks to a publisher that suggested that to me.
Mm-hmm. Wow, fascinating. Yeah, one of the things that's so frustrating, there are a lot of books and is especially frustrating in when you get into a TV series and there's all these mysteries and then it just ends and nothing's resolved, nothing's answered.
Yes.
And
yes.
you know, and I love it when the the producers just kind of cop out and they go, well, we want you to finish it in your own mind. It's like, yeah, thanks.
No. This has a very, very definitive ending to it. It's all there. And I'm the same way as you. I like to, as the story goes along, I like it to get better and better. I don't want the first book or the first TV series to be the best of all the rest of them. Mm-hmm. So, as reviewers and different educators have told me, each one of the books gets better as it goes along. I feel like I'm blowing my own horn here, but that's what I want. I want each one to get a little bit better.
Excellent. What we know, the inspiration that you took the long book and broke it up into smaller books and added more detail from a suggestion. What was the original inspiration for that first book that turned into a series?
Well, 20 years ago, my daughter, whose name is Margaret, which means pearl, she had graduated from college, and she left to go to LA. She is in the movie industry. She owns a casting company in LA, and I was really, really missing her. And so I thought, well, I'm going to just write down a little story and, put her in as a character. And so the character actually looks like my daughter when she was 7 years old. My illustrator's done a wonderful job with that. And she has the personality, the outgoing, strong, I'm going to do this myself, I'm going to find my mother personality that my daughter has. So she was the inspiration. And my son's in the story also, because little Pearl has a little brother, and I do have a son, younger son than my daughter. And so the whole story started out that way. But then I always have been very much interested. I was a Latin and classic teacher. I've been interested in mythology and how different mythologies and religions relate to how we see life. And so that's in there also.
Wonderful. I love this. And I love that you have structured the book so that there are these questions that hopefully, as you said, a parent and child or a caregiver and child can talk about. Can you take a minute as a former teacher and principal? This is the Reading with Your Kids podcast, and we're not just reviewing books. We're inspiring parents to read together and not just stick a book in front of a kid to get them out of your hair. Tell us from your perspective, what are the benefits of families getting into the habit of reading with their kids every night?
Well, there are many. I think a child that sees a parent reading becomes a reader also. And so many different worlds can open up when you read. I was an English teacher also, so I know that the students who really enjoyed reading did the best in school. And so and I myself, I have a lot of learning disabilities, so I had a lot of trouble learning to read. And I think that children who read with parents helps them overcome any shyness or inabilities they have, disabilities they might have while they read. So they're more apt to read more in school if they're reading at home with their parents. And also, I think because of the internet, which I love the internet and the social media and so forth, but I do think that it is separating children from their parents and talking and the interaction. And sometimes kids will lose respect for what their parents think because they're really not talking to their parents. And so I want to open up that conversation, not only about life, but, about a mystery story. Does this scare you? How do you picture this? What would you see if you were thinking about this? And a couple of my friends who are older read this with their grandchildren, and they say, they love to discuss how their grandchild sees the world today as compared to how they saw the world when they were a child. And that's so valuable also. It just opens up your mind. You're no longer thinking in this box. It opens up your mind to what's going on in the world really. So.
Yeah, I love that. I agree with you. One of the things that you said, it really resonates. You spoke about, kids who see their parents read. are more apt to become active readers. That is something one of our past guests, LeVar Burton, spoke about, and how he was inspired not only to read, but to become an advocate for literacy because of his mother's influence, because she was always reading one novel, maybe two novels at a time, and there was newspapers, and everybody in the house was expected to read. And I absolutely agree that, kids mimic their parents.
Yes.
No matter how much your kid says they don't like you,
yes,
and they don't want to be around you, and they don't care
yes,
what you think, you are the person that they care most about in the world, and your opinion
absolutely
is the most important opinion in the world. So,
yes,
we say a lot of times here that you are your child's first and most important teacher. You might not
yes,
be the best teacher if you're not giving them good lessons. That's not great, but you are the most important, because whatever you're teaching them, through your example, they're going to follow. And
we learn as adults too from the children. And it keeps us a little bit more in wonder and a little bit more in belief and seeing the world with colored eyes like children do. And I think if a child can see an adult with the wonder, then a child will feel like when they become an adult, it's okay to wonder. It's not, you don't have to be all serious about everything. You can think, well, what's behind that blue bunny over there? Or, who is that red robin? And just keep creating and thinking about things. Creativity is so important in life. You are a good example of that.
Well, this is just something that, my parents encouraged it. Well, my parents encouraged it because they didn't tell me to stop.
Yes.
It wasn't like I grew up in a fairly typical blue collar family, so that we didn't have a lot of artists. Well, I don't think we had any artists, and I think a couple of cousins played instruments, but, I always did gravitate towards the arts and being creative and creating stories and different scenarios. And, I guess they did encourage that because they didn't tell me to stop. And,
yes,
and they listen. And the biggest thing is they listen. If I would write a story or come up with a story, that would be the audience, the first audience that would see it would be my parents.
Yes. That's one of the things I enjoyed the most teaching. Is when students would say, I just wrote something. Would you take a look at it? It's not for grade. I just kind of did it for something extra. I would be so excited to read that story and share with them. I still do that. My sister's a teacher, and she has sent me a story that a 10-year-old boy has written, and it's fabulous. It's absolutely fabulous. And she said, well, can you communicate with him and talk to him about this story? Because he's having some difficulty. I mean, that's a joy. That is a joy to do that. Absolutely.
What a wonderful gift that you're giving that child, too.
Well, I'm fortunate I'm retired, so I have some time.
One of the things you spoke about grandparents reading with their kids, and that really is a great thing. Not only if, the parent can't read with the kids. I mean, there's no limit. You can't read too much with a kid. So,
right,
so if the parents are reading and the grandparents are reading, but I think it's a real benefit too for a grandparent. Maybe they're retired, and boy, life can be, for a lot of retired folks, life can be kind of limited, and their world kind of closes in, and as they're less able to get around. And what a wonderful way to just kind of keep alive and keep the mind alive by sitting down and reading with these kids that you love, and like you said before, seeing the world through their eyes, because it is a different world, and they have a very different perspective on the world.
They do, and they can teach us so much. It's just a two-way connection here. You learn from the person you're speaking with, no matter what age they are. I also like it when older brothers and sisters who think, oh, they might not like this story because it's for a 7-year-old, and they will write to me. 13 and 14-year-old kids trying to guess the mystery. And I said, well, how'd you get a hold of the book? Well, I'm reading it with my little brother or my little sister. That's very exciting.
Yeah, that's very, very cool. Now, one question, I said I love the fact that you have a definite end in mind, and that the first child who reads all of the books and are able to come up with the solution to the puzzle that you've woven into the stories will be written into that seventh book as a main character. Is this series, is the Little Pearl Reflection, do you need to read them in order, or can you pick up book 4 and then just fall in love with it and then go back to read 1 through?
You can.
Okay.
That's what I've done. I've dedicated the first page in each book to review what happened in the book before. Now, not all the details are there, but the child can jump in anywhere and read it. And now they may not be able to solve the final big mystery, but they'll be able to solve some of the smaller mysteries within the story. And so if you want to pick up book 4, read it with your parents, say, oh, I might like to read book 1 or 2, or they can do that. There's no problem. There's something in every single book that explains what happens in the other books.
That's fantastic. Well, where can we go online to find out a little bit more about Sarah Ann Kinnear and Little Pearl's Reflection?
Well, I do have a web page. It's littlepearlsreflection.org, so they can go to my web page. I have a Facebook page under Little Pearl's Reflection, and I do answer back and forth there. And you can go to, obviously, Amazon or Barnes & Noble, and a little bit about me there, and then I do answer some questions and go back and forth. You can write to me at my email address, sarah@littlepearlsreflection.com, and we can talk about the series together. And I answer all of them. I'm used to doing that, being a teacher for so many years, so I do answer everybody.
That's fabulous. Now, can we write to you and get some hints and able to solve that puzzle?
Yes,
Oh, awesome.
What a wonderful thing that you offered that. I forgot to say that. Yes, you can.
Well, if that's not a motivation to write, I don't know what is, but I do say it all the time. Having, and this happened in my family's life. Those projects where kids write to the mayor or the president, and you get back the form letter, and kids are excited about that. My kids had experiences where I encouraged them to write, and they did the mayor and they did the president. They got the form letters back, and that excited them. But they also wrote to not only civil servants and politicians, but also to authors, and they got personal responses back, and that was thrilling for them. So I really applaud you being open to get that, and I'm encouraging folks who are listening to really encourage your kids to reach out and to take a minute to send a message to an author, even if it's just to say, I really loved your book.
Yes.
They will be delighted the author will be delighted to get that, but the kids will be delighted.
Absolutely.
The kids will be delighted when they get the response back. And I have a feeling if you have a student, your child, and they're really busy and they pick up book 4, and they read it and they love it, but they're just swamped with schoolwork and sports and everything, but they send Sarah a note and they say, hey, I love book 4, it's really good, I hope I get a chance to read the others. When they get that response back from Sarah, they're going to be so excited, they're going to want the rest of the books, and they're just going to devour them.
That would be great. I just wanted to add one more thing.
Sure.
I made a promise to myself if and when I would publish these books, 70% of my profit goes towards children. Children's hospitals, Ronald McDonald houses, school libraries. I donate a lot of books. So when folks go online to buy my book, they can be assured that 70% of the profit that I get from that book is going back to children.
Wonderful, wonderful. So many great reasons to check out Little Pearl's Reflection. Our guest today has been Sarah Ann Kinnear. Check out this wonderful series. Sarah, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been fun. I've enjoyed it.
Please be sure to join us for the next edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast. It's STEM Tuesday, and we are welcoming back Allison T. Broderick to talk about her Healthy Habits series in her brand new book, Marcy Mabel Molly McMahon. She's going to be here. Don't miss this tongue-twisting interview. It's a lot of fun. Hey, we want to thank our guest, Sarah Ann Kinnear, for being here today. And, of course, we want to thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. And, as always, thank you so much for taking the time to make the world a better place by taking the time to read with your kids. I'll be looking for you in the next edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast.